Hello witches, wizards and those who are yet to receive their Hogwarts school letters, welcome to my Harry Potter kitchen. This is the YouTube series where I'm baking my way through the Harry Potter books, making recipes every time we find an item of food and drink. If you missed last week's recipe where we made some magical hot chocolate stirrers, where all you need to do is add milk, then make sure you check out the link down below in the description to catch up. And if it's your first time in the kitchen and you want to see more, make sure you hit that subscribe button, click on the notification bell, and you'll get an alert every Magic Monday when there is a brand new recipe. Speaking of which, we're almost heading off to Hogwarts, so let's see what's next. Okay, so let's head back to chapter 5, The Whomping Willow, to see how everyone is getting ready for school. So it's a pretty slow day at the Burrow. I think they're a little reluctant to head off, but they finally do. They make it to King's Cross just in time. Everyone is through the barriers apart from Harry and Ron, and then they try to get through and they crash into it, which has caused a little bit of a commotion. And then they're panicking that they're not going to be able to make it to Hogwarts, so they hatch a plan that they can just fly in Mr. Weasley's car. So they head back outside, they manage to set off, but they forget to make it invisible, so they might get in a little trouble for that later. And then I can see our next recipe. This, thought Harry, was surely the only way to travel. Past swirls of turrets of snowy cloud, in a car full of hot, bright sunlight, with a fat pack of toffees in the glove compartment. Can't have a car journey without snacks. If you'd like to recreate this magical Wizarding World toffee, then all of the ingredients you need, along with the instructions, are up on my website, bradleybakes.co.uk. The link is down below in the description. So today we're going to be making homemade toffee, which is a really classic treat here in the UK. You can either find toffee soft or hard. I much prefer the soft chewy toffees, so that's what we're going to make today, and it is really, really easy. We're only going to use 3 ingredients and then some flavouring, and because it's going to be so quick, we're going to spend a bit of extra time personalising it and making it a bit more magical. First up, we need to make that easy toffee base, so this is what you need to do. To begin, you want to prepare your baking tin. Now, the easiest way to do this to make sure you get a nice clean finish is to measure out your baking paper along one side and make sure you leave about 2 centimeters either side, as that's going to go up the edges, and then you want to cut that into place. Lightly grease the tin and then slide this in. You then want to turn the tin the other way around and then again measure a single piece of baking paper going that side with 2 centimeters either side. Cut that into shape and then use some more butter to help you stick that over. This will make sure you get a nice seal, and we'll be able to use the sides to pull out the toffee afterwards. You can then place your tin to one side while you make your easy toffee recipe. Now, as I mentioned, this is only going to take 3 ingredients and the rest are flavourings. Place your pan on a medium heat and then add in your sugar and your butter. You can then stir this together until it's well combined and then place a sugar thermometer in. We want to bring this up to the boil until it reaches 125 degrees Celsius, which is the hard ball stage. Keep swirling around to make sure you get a nice even cook, and then once it hits temperature, you want to remove your thermometer. Slowly pour in the cream, but be careful as the mixture will begin to bubble up and spit. Once it's calmed down a little bit, stir this through until it's well combined, and then you can then add in your flavourings. I'm using vanilla, which is the base for most toffees, and also a pinch of salt, as this helps combat the bitterness and make sure you bring out all of the sweetness in your toffee. You then want to turn off the heat and leave this for a few minutes, as that will help reduce the amount of bubbles that we have in our toffee. It will also start to thicken up as it cools. At this point, you can then pour it into your prepared tin. It should level out by itself, but if it needs a helping hand, swirl your tin around, being careful, as if you're using a metal tin, it will be hot. Allow it to cool in the tin, and then you want to place this in the fridge to set for about 2 to 3 hours, but I prefer to leave it overnight. So I did say it was going to be a super easy toffee recipe, and that is as easy as it gets. 3 ingredients in a pan, bringing it up to the boil, and then you can sit back and relax while it sets. Some of you eagle-eyed witches and wizards out there might also recognise that those 3 ingredients are also what we use in our butterscotch sauce for butterbeer, and you'll also find that a lot of caramels, fudges and toffees have the same base. It's that ratio of sugar and butter and cream, and also the temperature that you boil it to, which makes the difference. So if you want to personalize this recipe, you don't want it to be as chewy and soft as mine, then you can reduce the amount of butter that you use and also increase the temperature that you boil it to, but just be careful to do that gradually so it doesn't burn. Traditionally, soft toffees are cut into cubes and eaten just like that, but it's my Harry Potter kitchen, so we're going to add some more magic by turning these into lightning bolts. Remove the toffee from the tin and place it on a chopping board. I've got myself a lightning bolt stencil and oiled my knife to prevent it from sticking. The easiest way to do this is place your stencil down and then cut the toffee into strips. You can then cut out your first piece carefully and then use the diagonal to flip the stencil around and save space, as the angle will be the same as your next piece. Keep on going until all your pieces are cut, and remember you can add a little bit more oil to your knife if it begins to stick again. Now you can either tuck into these straight away, but if you want to give them as a gift, all you need to do is wrap up the toffees in some wax paper and they'll keep in the fridge for up to a month. And we're done! These magical lightning bolt Harry Potter toffees are so good, they just might put Honeydukes out of business. You can always personalise these by adding on sweets, chocolate or icing on top, but I think they're pretty magical just as they are. So there you have it, that is an easy toffee recipe that we've added a little bit of my Harry Potter kitchen magic to make them extra special. Let me know down below in the comments if you're going to give this one a go. I definitely recommend it, whether they're for yourself or a gift for one of your Wizarding World friends. That's all for this week's recipe, but if you want to see more from my Harry Potter kitchen, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click on the notification bell, and you'll get an alert every Magic Monday when there's a brand new recipe. I'm about to tuck into these sweets, and I'll see you next week. Car snacks don't get better than this.